Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Not Your Typical Tea. We're back with another show. How are you guys doing? How's it all going?
Good. Manic. And just I'm just excited for all the lockdown stuff to start easing and restrictions and stuff. It's exciting times ahead. I mean, I know the first thing I'm going to do when the restaurants open, I'm going to a Brazilian steakhouse on my own.
The first thing is my eyebrows.
Oh, don't get me started with that.
First thing, because right now, it looks nice now, but the concealer.
No, I'm looking at your eyebrows. They look great.
Yeah, they look great. I think Gorilla Glue might be an issue.
This is Gorilla Glue eyebrows.
I might do that because these eyebrows are actually out of order. They are not my friends. So yeah.
Can I just say, you two look really lovely. I'm seeing the eyebrows, I'm seeing the eyelash, I'm seeing the lip liner, I'm seeing it all. And no one gave me the memo.
Oh, but Jay, you look natural and beautiful.
No, I don't want to look natural and beautiful. I want to look like you guys.
I'm trying to make it.
If you don't know, you got to know. You got to be ready.
Now you know.
Really nice. Okay, I see it. So for those who are listening who may not know us, let's introduce ourselves and the show, because we've been forgetting to do this. We've just been like jumping straight into our show. Let's do our introductions. I will begin. My name is Jordan.
I am Esther. I was waiting for Cheryl.
And my name is Cheryl, and we are Not Your Typical Tea.
Yes, we are. And Not Your Typical Tea is a podcast that comes out every 2 weeks, and we talk about trending topics with a sprinkle of scripture. That is what we do. Just a sprinkle, y'all. Just a sprinkle.
Wait, why do we do the sprinkle? Someone asked me this the other day, and I was just like, we like to keep things lighthearted. I say this, but sometimes Esther goes onto a tangent. But generally, we are free believers, Christians, and we just share our stories. We share our thoughts. We share our opinions. Sometimes they're the same. Sometimes they're wildly different. But it's always with a scrimple. Hey, a scrimple. I need to come
up with scrimple.
A scrimple.
My English has decreased. With a sprinkle. Scripture. Yeah. And I love it. I think it's perfect, actually. I think it's so perfect. And so what we do is we have a little chat about how our week's been. We kind of started talking about that anyway, but yeah, what's been anything wild happened this couple of weeks, guys? Anything wild been going on? Guys, we need to watch Behind Her Eyes.
Oh, someone was talking about this. Yeah, someone was talking about it.
I feel like stopping recording now just so you guys can watch it and then we can come back, because it will leave your head spun.
What?
What's it about?
You can't even answer. What?
I can't answer because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Just a brief synopsis.
A brief synopsis without ruining it. Okay. So there is a married couple that moved to London. The couple's got some sort of history. We don't really understand what it is. There's a lot of tension and animosity between the couple. Then there's this new lady that comes along, a black lady. Her afro ain't that great, but we'll have to talk about it for another episode. And then there's a lot of passa between the three of them. And it's just talking do you know what? That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. And it doesn't even sound like much. But when you watch it, like I've just come off a CH room where the room was, if you don't want any spoilers, exit the room now, because we just went on a deep, and then there's just so many layers behind, like the way that it's shot, the different like scenes, the colors that are used, the undertones. It's amazing. I need you to watch it. I just need you to watch it.
Behind Her Eyes.
After I was genuinely left like I didn't know what to do with my life.
Wow.
Like,
No, I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard very mixed reviews.
I don't know who your
Really
friends are.
surprised. Really?
I don't know who your friends are, because everyone that I've heard, and I've just come off a room full of 100 people, everyone was like, my head was spun. I just don't get it. Okay. It is the epitome of mind your business. It's the epitome of mind your business. When you see people's relationships, mind your business.
Yeah. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, I'm watching it. You sold it to me.
I'll watch it again. I'll watch it with you. Let's do a watch party. We'll watch
How many episodes?
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'm more likely to watch it if you guys are watching it.
Oh, Esther.
You know me. I don't watch anything.
This girl doesn't watch anything. I feel like we were talking when we were like, okay, you must watch Lovecraft. Have you watched it? No. This girl's been saying,
watched it.
Have you watched Lovecraft yet? No. Oh my god.
The whole philosophical breakdown of Clubhouse, and this heifer has not watched it.
No. Sorry, guys.
You've got a long. You know what? You need to get rid of the kids for a weekend. Just sit in front of the TV.
I'll just get bored.
No,
You won't.
You won't.
I'll try it out.
Esther, what's been going on with you? Anything?
Oh, well, obviously, everyone knows I'm a big Kanye fan, and, you know, KIMYE are no longer. It's just Kim and Ye. So that was interesting.
What is your opinion on it? What's your opinion?
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. Like, I just feel like I haven't followed their relationship much anyway. Like, I'm a big Kanye fan. I just don't really do the whole personal life stuff. But, I mean, people are always predicting divorces and stuff like that anyway. And I think for years they've been saying it. And then I think they were saying they hadn't been seen together for 4 months and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, really? But then, yeah, I've got my own opinions on it. But you just don't know what people are going through. You know, you don't know what people are dealing with. You know, obviously they're in the limelight, you might hear glimpses and so on and so forth. But ultimately, another, you know, Kanye's first divorce and obviously Kim's third. So it's quite interesting in that dynamic. Obviously they've got beautiful children and stuff, but we all have to do what children are not enough to keep you in a relationship, keep you in a marriage. That's from my experience. So I hope they can co-parent, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Feel like there was a shift, and you know what? When I think even about your story, S, I feel like there was a shift when both you and Kanye came into God. Like, just things changed. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, I think some of the things that Kanye does, and we've spoken about this on one of the episodes, I think some of the things he does are rough. Like, outlandish. Yeah, there was a shift when he started doing his Sunday services.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big thing. I think that transformation and that transition is so huge. And I think God is like, okay, when you commit your life to God, everything's different. So either things will remain the same. Well, things don't remain the same. Things usually, obviously for you, your life gets better. But around you, people don't really understand why you're doing certain things. You know, what is this God talk about? And they're seeing a spiritual enrichment in you. And they're seeing that you're spiritually enlightened. And you start to speak, God starts to being the thing that you talk about. And you're so enthusiastic about it. But then, you know, if that person you're in a relationship with is not in the same way.
Pause. Sorry. I need to... Dad, I'm recording.
What did he say?
You just close your door.
It's so funny. What did he say?
Full on rave in the living room.
Can we keep it in?
That is so funny.
I had a doom. I was like, what the heck? What is that?
That is so funny.
Yeah, life changes for you. You know, you're spiritually enriched. You know, you get really enthusiastic about God. Everything starts to be about God. It stops being about you and it starts being about him. And actually, if that person is not on the same level as you, you will struggle. Like, you will struggle if your morals and values, like if then you start realizing actually we're so different. Like, I'm seeing things in a different light to you. There's that, we're not spiritually compatible, you know, and then you just, you know, from my experience, when I came into God, everything around me just left. Everything that wasn't of God left. And I as much as I was fighting, and especially for my marriage at the time, God was actually, this is not for you. This is not what I've ordained. This is not, I've got bigger plans. And at the time it was difficult. Of course, it's emotional. You're going through this, you know, this major breakup in your life. You know, I had 2 young kids at the time. But now I look back and I think, wow, like, thank God that he's put me on this journey and he's pulled me through it. And I think you're so right, Shez. I think, yeah, once you come into God, especially when you're in a relationship, beware. If your relationship is not of God, it's not likely to withstand. You will face challenges. And it's, you know, yeah.
Like we saw it happening very quickly when Kanye, I think maybe episode 3 or 4, he spoke about his mental health and his tweets, and he called Kris Jenner the devil, did he?
Yeah.
And he, I think, you know, when you start calling your mother-in-law
the devil, it's over. It's all over.
It's all over.
Part of the PSI, she will excommunicate you.
Exactly.
You will not survive Kris Jenner.
The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. Yeah.
So that was my thing for the week, which I was like, okay, somewhat. I'm hoping he brings out some music. That's all I care about, to be honest with you.
Ooh, that was about to be fire.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next album.
He used to quote Kim all the time in his albums.
Was that?
He used to quote Kim in his album.
Yeah, he has quoted Kim a lot in his albums, and now it's like, because he's obviously kind of loved her and had a crush on her, and now it'll be interesting to see how Kanye is managing this divorce in terms of his emotional health, his mental health. Because I know obviously he is a significant woman in his life. It's his first wife, obviously, is a spouse. You know, have his mom around, and they became obviously his family and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not how he's dealing with it. Whether he's like, okay, this was amicable, because I've heard it's amicable, and they both, you know, it was amicable. So that's was very interesting.
Let me ask a question. Do you think when Kim and Kanye first got together, because obviously if you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you would have seen Kanye chase Kim for quite a while. Do you think the point at which she decided to give it a go, do you think in her mind, I'm just going to settle?
Yeah.
She's settling for Kim, for Kanye?
I think so. I think if you've known for years, I think obviously because Kim was very young when she got married. Her first marriage, she was very, very young. So sometimes that doesn't even count. But, you know, and her second marriage, okay, whatever it was. And I think for her, she's like, actually, I want to have children. Like, I'm of a certain age. I want to have children. I think this might be it. This guy's been chasing me. You know, why not? Let me see how it goes. And then obviously things happen. They blossomed. You know, she got pregnant. She got pregnant first before the marriage. And some might say, actually, it's because of that kind of put a bit of pressure on them to kind of.
I think she's even too rich to care whether she got pregnant out of wedlock. I think, one, she didn't, because when I think back to Kanye back in Kardashian, Keeping Up with the Kardashians time, he was a bit of a nerd. Like, he was a that would always just show up. And she always used to shade him because at the time she was chasing Chris Humphrey.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah. So I think in her mind, she had a certain look that she wanted to go for, and Kanye didn't fit that until he was going failed relationship. And then she realized that actually Kanye's been around all this time. Let me just give this a go. But I don't think she anticipated for Kanye to be as big as he is and infiltrate so many. Because at the time he was just a rapper. Now he's a
big. I think it was quite strategic.
He was big, but he wasn't big as he's. My man was. He wasn't doing model runway.
No, he didn't have. Yeah, he didn't have the Yeezy line and stuff like that back then. So obviously, he's always kind of been into fashion, and he's always spoken about wanting his own fashion line. So I think, you know, that transition happened quite nicely. And I think you're right, Shez. He doesn't fit, you know, the description of what Kim Kardashian usually goes for.
Kanye, not new Kanye.
Not the old Kanye, yeah. So like, you know,
that's really interesting though.
Black, tall, black. You know, sports, you know, sports, like, you know, that was her typical type of guy. And then obviously Kanye, like you said, being his nerd with his, you know, the nerdish. I like Kanye like that. His little backpack and all that stuff. He's like, who are you? Kind of stuff. But yeah, if somebody's been chasing you for a while, both of you guys are single, both of you guys have failed relationships, actually, you're going to probably think, let's give this a go. And they obviously did.
Let me ask another question. Is there someone in your DMs that you have put on ice, that's been on ice for a while, that you think, actually, maybe I should pull them out of the friend zone?
Yeah, I think so. I tend to friend zone.
Like, did you really take it there?
I tend to friend zone everyone, anyways, because I'm just like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I want to get to know people. So everybody's actually initially friend zoned before you're taken out of that zone, and then I give you a chance whether I think or not. And I pray on it. I sit and pray on it and stuff like that as well. So it takes me a while to kind of figure out whether or not this is going to be right for me. And I could talk to somebody for 2 months, 3 months. But I've heard from Nicola that both Kim and Kanye were cheating. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see what comes out.
Was she there? Was she there when the cheating happened?
Hi, I just want to verify that y'all fans have biases and you are not speaking honestly about this subject. Both Kanye and Kim were both in relationships whilst they were
Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that because he was with Amber Rose.
He was with Amber Rose. He was with
and she was with
But I'm talking about before Amber Rose. He was chasing her for a long time.
Yeah, Cheryl. How long do you chase and cheat? My friend, what are you saying here?
Before he got with Amber Rose, he was chasing her. Because I remember the days he used to turn up at the shop. He used to turn up at the shop really awkwardly, and then she'd be like, "Oh,
I remember that
again." You not remember that?
In New York, yeah.
When he got his source, when he started dating Amber Rose. That's when the eyes started flickering.
Yeah. And she was actually married. Wasn't she married to Chris Humphries when she got pregnant?
Yeah. That relationship was abysmal.
She got pregnant? What? For what? For Kanye? Married to Chris?
Yeah. They were still married.
Wait, were you guys there? Wait, how do you guys know this?
Can I just say, I just want to say that I know because I have multiple sources from been building a profile over time. So I have the historical evidence from a man called Consequence, who was Kanye's best friend, and they fell out. And
Consequence, yeah.
And then he started talking, chatty patty, and then when they became friends again, somehow all the footage disappeared. But apparently he was helping Kim and Kanye sneak around in hotel rooms. And so he, it didn't start off well, which is probably why they spent so much time defending it. But you know what? He's creative, and so...
Yeah, I actually wish them all the best.
Oh, without a doubt, I wish them all the best.
But I want the next album. I'm waiting for the album, Kanye. So please. And also Kanye, I'm single, so I need to sell myself. Just
Kanye.
I've been chasing Kanye for years. Do you know that? But no, for real, I've been like a Kanye fan since I was about 16. So
shoot your shot, Edgar. Shoot your shot. Do it.
Kanye, no. I couldn't. I just actually couldn't. Yeah, but
Well, we're trying to go to Vegas. We're trying to go to Vegas this year. So maybe if God says so, you'll be there.
Kanye will be there. Like, hey.
I'm like, Kanye, my friend.
It's so funny because I actually met Kanye a few years ago. It was about, I can't remember how many years, maybe 6-7 years, when he was at the big, the Wireless Festival. And we went to after party. And one of his security guards let us into the after party, and he was so shy. Like my sister went up to him, was like, "My sister is the biggest fan," and he was like, "Yeah, tell your sister, like, I appreciate it." And he was like right there, and he was so shy. It was just the best thing ever.
Why did you not then? Now you could have been missing.
I was too shy. I couldn't have.
You could have been northwest mother.
I'll just be east-west.
You're gonna be east-west.
South-east, Croydon, bro. Croydon.
Croydon.
Yeah. Good times.
All right, guys, Kanye is not even what we were planning to talk about today.
No,
it was not even Kanye.
Yeah.
So let's not
what we were to talk about today.
So, I read a story about I read a story about this footballer and his girlfriend who broke up, and the reason why they broke up was because he spent too much time on Fortnite. I think his name's Dele Alli. I'm not a big football fan. I'm sure if you're listening, you follow football, you know who it is. Cool. All I know is I read it and thought, you broke up because of Fortnite. A game. So they're young, innit? Like, he's 24, I think. She's roughly the same age.
That makes perfect sense.
I think so. But then I was like, would you break up over just a game? And then I thought about the things I broke like people over, and I thought, maybe I would.
Yeah. It depends. If somebody's breaking up with somebody over a game, it means that they must be playing the game. They must be playing it a lot. And obviously, because he's a footballer, he has to do lots of training. Yeah. And obviously, I don't know what cup, FA Cup or whatever it is. I haven't watched football in about a year or so. But he obviously spends a lot of time away from home anyway. And then when you are at home, you're on Fortnite. So she's probably thinking, actually, what the hell? And with the whole COVID situation as well, it must have amplified that. So maybe that wasn't necessarily an issue before. Maybe she was just like, okay, whatever. But now she's probably seen that, we're not going on our luxurious holidays, not going on our lovely restaurants and stuff like that. No luxurious shopping trips where now you're there with Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably would actually. It depends. Like,
I think
I'm a gamer, but I feel like.
Well, but Esther, you're a gamer, so you lot would be playing together. Now, I don't know this girl, but it didn't look like they were playing Fortnite together. That doesn't seem to be what had been happening.
I think the bigger issue, and I was having this discussion with someone this week, because another couple that we saw broke up is how fickle this generation is. Like, we are so fickle. Like, our relationships are, I don't know if we know how to build relationships on substance anymore. Like, the fact you can break up, I understand why she did, but then my question is, why were you together in the first place? If it only took a game, for you to break up. But then, having said that, again, they're 24, 25. But then when I look at even our generation, even those that are getting married, they're not lasting.
No.
Lasting.
No. And I think before that this lockdown came to show, it came to make, and it came to break relationships. And I think that's what we're gonna see. And this is another casualty of that.
Yeah. I guess the next question is, what is your views on couple goals? Have we talked about couple goals before?
We spoke on
it.
Not a lot.
What do you guys think about couple goals?
I think couple goals has to be own. I just feel like, a lot of us are looking at celebrities for couple goals, but they will only show you what they want to show you. And I just feel like the reality is that if I establish couple goals with my boyfriend or whoever, that's our own goal and our own achievements. We've got to set that precedence. We can't be looking to others to set the precedence for us and actually think, that's how I want to be, because actually we're talking about two individuals getting together, and ultimately God should be the goal. So I'm not trying to do things the way that I perceive other people, and that's why I don't look at people's relationships and think, oh wow, like I'm not necessarily fascinated by that, because in my own experience, I think if I was very heavy on social media, I would show you, okay, look at me, my boyfriend just bought me this, and look at us on this holiday, and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Everybody's, their own person, they can do what they do. But for me, I just think couple goals, we shouldn't aspire to what other people are gaining. We should aspire to what within our own means. And that might be something different to what other people and how they've achieved it. And I'm not saying that, they could have gone through something really difficult that could resonate with us. So we could be like, okay, I've been through, similar to Sierra. I was married, my marriage broke down, I'm divorced now, I've got 2 young children, so I can resonate with the fact that, okay, her having a child and then going into a relationship and getting married, that's all lovely, but in terms of the actual substance of how they are as a couple, that is not what I'm aspiring to. I have to look to God and have my own aspirations and my own goals for the man that God has for me.
I agree with that, but the couples look so shiny, they look so shiny. And they look like they're having so much fun, and then you want to have the fun, and you want to be shiny too. Like this is why couple goals is so like intoxicating, because it just looks so good.
Yeah.
Looks so good. Like I follow a lot of the pages. I follow a lot of like the Black Love pages. I think married millennial pages. Like I love it. Bella Nija. I love a shiny couple, and I feel like with social media, you're getting the perfect picture, that. So ultimately, it's having to take that with a pinch of salt. A picture is a snapshot, a second. So what you would hope and expect is that people would understand that after that picture was taken, or weeks or months later, maybe this couple wasn't having a great time, but actually, well, for this few minutes, they just were shiny and perfect and lovely. I don't know if I would. Well, I mean, obviously, when I marry John, we're both going to be in the public, so it might be quite difficult.
When? Oh no, this is
the way it might be quite difficult to stay out of the limelight. But when we do, like I think we'll give a few pictures and then we'll back.
I think the challenge that you face with celebrity couples is that actually one day they're taking pictures together and the next day they're filing for divorce, and you just think, what the hell happened? You just think, wait, you were just on the red carpet together, cuddling, looking, beautiful, and then the next day you divorce. And this is the thing, like you said, Jay, that the picture's only a snapshot for that particular time. You just don't know what people are really going through. You really don't know. And then when the breakups are, you're just like, how did this happen?
There was a couple that broke up recently.
Celebrity.
Yeah. I won't say their name. If I say the story, you probably know who it is. But they came out and said that they've been actually broken up for a while. People came and I was like, but weren't you guys just posting Valentine's? And I was just like, so what was it for? Why did you need to post the shiny video for the people? Is it for the people that didn't have it? Did you want to? What were you trying to show in that moment?
So when they posted the video, they were not together.
They said they'd broken up ages ago. I think they were waiting for the right time to come out.
That's strange.
Like on Valentine's Day, it felt like everyone went to the same Valentine's man and said, "Can you come and decorate my room like this?"
Yeah.
Like everyone had the same room with the same angle, with the same rose petals leading to the other room, and it was just like, so, what was the reason? What was
the reason? No, the setup was similar, and I was just looking at it, and I just thought, this is interesting. It's interesting because are we seeking validation from others that, okay, look at me, like I'm in this, and also there's an element of like you said, Shez, are you just wanting to kind of somewhat rub it in people's faces that this is my status, look at what I am. I feel like you can celebrate love and your relationship privately. You can do that privately, like and the same way you celebrate your relationship privately. When things go wrong, you exit privately.
Yeah.
See, so for me, a lot of people didn't even realize that I was divorced. They had no clue. Like even some of my friends up to now had no idea, because it's something I never really posted on social media. Only when I got married, that was it. And I never, the 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever, I never posted a single picture on my social media. So people actually assuming that we're still together or married or whatever. And I'm like, no, I've been divorced for like nearly 2 years, 3 years or whatever it is. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, because I kept things very, very private. And I'm a very, very private person anyway. So I wouldn't want it to be all out there.
But we live in a society where like love and couple goals now, it sells. So it must be lucrative to have goals. It has to be it has to be part of your brand. It must be, because people be so open with their relationship. They have to get something out of it. It must be lucrative. So I can see why they do it. I don't know. So let me ask this then. So if we were all in relationship, would we be posting? Would we be couple goals?
No.
That's not my personality to kind of flaunt. I'm not really like that. It does put a pressure. It puts a pressure on those that don't have it, because you're just like, well, why don't I have it?
Yeah.
Where is mine? Yeah. And that's why I personally don't follow all of those couple pages. There's certain things that I won't have or have access to, just because I'm just like, I don't want to ever get to that point where I am jealousy or anything like that. So I'm just not going to have it in my space. I can recognize when it's a beautiful thing, but to see it on my screen, that is all I'm seeing on my screen. It will have some sort of effect on you.
But don't you celebrate them? Don't you celebrate them?
For sure.
I just love it.
It's the pressure of like society, because we're not normalizing the fact that it's okay to be married at 50, and it's okay to own a house when you're 70, and it's okay to have a PhD. This woman got her PhD at like 70 or something like that. And I think it's because society itself wants to fit people in within the time frame of when you should have kids, when you should get married, when you should your career should be this and that. And actually, when you're seeing all these people who may be a similar age of you, and you're like, actually, I'm not fitting into this category of getting married or buying my first house or whatever it is, then it makes you feel somewhat inferior. But then again, if you put God into it, then you know that actually because I'm not aspiring to what they have, and I'm aspiring to ultimately my soul tie will be God and not the ungodly soul ties dragging on and carrying with me the rest of my life. Then you just understand that your time is not now. And how many people have flaunted and rushed things thinking that their time was now, and it's actually ended pretty badly. So we know that we are on this journey with God, and it makes it so much more. It's not going to be easy at all times, but we know that actually ultimately when God puts a man for us and when he presents him to us and he has ordained it, we're in a good place. We're in a good place, and we don't have to deal with the constant breakups and the heartache that people have to go through when relationships and stuff break down, because we're taking our time.
I think my ultimate fear, because I think realistically, if you wanted to go and have a relationship, you could, but there is a standard for which you are attaining, and there are certain, I guess, aspects that you want to see. That makes it a little bit more harder when you're trying to filter through these people. My worst fear is to end up in a marriage with someone that God didn't put forward, because I'm just like, do I have to spend the rest of my life in absolute torture?
Absolutely. That's a very valid point, Shez. That's a very, very valid point. Like, how do we know at that point? And I think if they're the social pressures of wanting to get married, and obviously we've talked about this before, biological clocks are ticking and we want to have children and stuff like that, then you're more likely to make decisions and think, okay, you know what, this could be it. And you're more likely to kind of push a situation and think that the situation, it might be what God wants of you, but actually he's kind of telling you that, no, this is not it. And if we get into that kind of marriage, you know, I've been in that marriage, and this was before I even knew God. As soon as I got to know God, my marriage broke down. That was it. Like, there was no withstanding. My marriage was not withstanding.
God was like,
why do you think that is?
He's asking for some confirmations. I can't give you anything. Like,
yeah. And I think, you know, you add abstinence to it, it makes it even more challenging. It makes it even more challenging because actually we know that there's an ultimate goal. And, you know, we're doing all we can to kind of build our relationship with God. And once you're abstinent, you know, it's like so many people and so many men, you know, they run away. And I think when we were on the Clubhouse, and it was Pastor Mike. And
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah, they're talking about either pray. What was it, Jay? It was pray, or they'll see you as a pray or a I can't remember the terminology that he used.
Good.
It was brilliant.
Pray, are you prey or potential?
Prey or potential. Prey or potential. So some people would understand, some men will look at you, and in my experience, it's like, okay, because they are bringing up sex very early on, I have to tell them I'm abstinent. So it's
just to give a little bit of context. So there was a room on Clubhouse with Pastor Mike, I think.
Pastor Mike White, yeah, from the Tab Church based in Lewisham.
Yes, and Stacey Gasheri, who I think is a counsellor.
Yeah, psychotherapist, counsellor, yeah.
So they had a room and they were talking about what it is to be single, how to date in this context and as a believer, and kind of the things to look out for. And one of the questions was, or that Esther gave, was how do you date and be abstinent at the same time? And I thought his response was, I mean, what did you think about his response? His response was basically like, that's none of their business.
Yeah, and I feel like there was an element of me that's like, yes, that's very, very true. But ultimately, I think we've talked about this before. I want people to make an informed decision. I want to get to know somebody, because ultimately, if someone's talking about sex within the first week, I'm like, nah. Like, obviously, I know this is not going anywhere. And I mentioned abstinence, and even more like, I'm not doing this. But I'd like to get somebody to get to know me, and then they'll understand. Okay, I understand more about who she is, her faith, and all that stuff, and the reason why she wants to be abstinent.
How do you get to that point if you say it straight away? Because
absolutely.
My thing is, if you say straight away, they don't know enough about you to commit to continuing to get to know you. So if they're already not on that journey, it's easier for me to be like, actually, no, thank you. Whereas if they've kind of built, I'm not saying like months and months down the line you still haven't said anything, but once they've built that sort of rapport with you, when you then say it, they've got a better grounding and understanding. As to it's a bit more of an easier pill to swallow.
I've kind of done both. So I've kind of said very, you know, straight up, I'm abstinent, this is what I'm doing. And then I've also kind of not said it, and I've tried to build rapport and build relationships and, you know, build a friendship and stuff like that. But I think it's different. I think it's going to always be challenging. I think there's no perfect way. I think it depends on you as a person and who you're talking to, because, you know, you might say it straight away, and that person might be like, okay, well, this is interesting, I want to know more. And they might find out that it's not for them, and they're like, okay, I don't know if I can do this, would be really difficult. Or you can kind of build rapport, build a friendship with this person, and actually tell them, look, this is what I am. And I think once they get to know you, they'll understand it. I think people need to see God in you before sometimes they make decisions about why you are the way you are. And I feel like when you see somebody very, very kind, very, very loving, very supportive of their family, and then they bring abstinence to it, you think, actually, that's wonderful. Like, I respect it. There's an element of respect there. So I think people seeing God in me more, because you don't get to see that straight away. But if you see, you know, godly traits in me, then you're more likely to be like, oh, it depends on the person. But from my experience, they're more like, okay, this seems like I want to know more. I'm interested, and then then you can start connecting with God with that particular person, and things could possibly blossom. But that's me talking in a very kind of like.
Someone was putting on their Bumble status.
What? Huh?
Meanwhile, someone was putting on their Bumble status. Have you taken it off?
I'm not on Bumble. I'm on Hinge. Took it down because actually he made a very good point, and that I think the idea, I think where we were coming from is that we were saying, like, we want to be upfront. We want to be upfront. We want people to make informed choices. But what he said about prey, being the prey, and actually I've experienced that a few times, that you'll tell a guy, oh, well, this is the path I'm on, or this is what I'm trying to do, or whatever. And then it will become a challenge. It becomes a challenge. And that's what I had been experiencing. So guys being like, okay, all right then, let's see how long that lasts. And then we're having this tussle, and actually no one's got time for that. No one's got time for that. So actually, Pastor Mike White's advice to be like, sex is really important to me. That's why I will have sex with somebody who is special to me, or a husband, and like shutting the conversation down was really helpful, rather than it not being a conversation at all. But even just like giving you the tools and the language to have that conversation, and to explain to that person that you are a sexual being, but bro, it's just not you.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I thought the fact that I like the fact that he said, you don't need to be a prude.
Yeah.
No.
It's okay to say, look, I'm a sexual being, but only for the right person. And like,
great.
Yeah. I don't know how it works in practice, because I think naturally people would want to delve into what that means more.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean? What are you looking for? When he went, like, it could only lead, but then I guess that's where you put, if someone's asking you those questions in the first date or two, or the first like conversations of speaking, then you kind of realize where their head's at anyway, and that's your cue to exit left.
Exactly.
Exit from the left and the right, because ultimately you know that their intention is pure, purely sexual. I think that naturally, if you come to that conversation, that it should be very, very natural. And I just feel like there's an element of me that kind of loves being so very proud and of who I am, and my love of God and stuff like that. But not everybody's ready for that. Not everybody's ready to hear it. And you find that you could be really enthusiastic and really kind of quite gregarious about your faith. And and then you just realize that the other person is just not on that wavelength. And I think that is a challenge for me. And I'm like, well, am I going to have to tone down? Not that I am, but maybe, I don't know, my whole love of God just for somebody to understand. Do you understand? Because I feel like I'm very, but then people say, because you're new to Christianity, that's how I was when I first became a Christian.
Yeah, but you've been in it for ages though, so you've been in it for a while enough for that to not be the case.
Yeah, and I think all the and what I find funny is that all the guys that I am dating or speaking to are Christian, so these are not just, random people. These are people that I'm thinking actually there's going to be potential there, because we have familiar ground and our foundation is our faith. Then I realized that faith comes at different levels, different membership, basic, intermediate, and advanced.
I have the gold membership. What do you?
I've got the gold and the platinum. And you are on what? Silver. You're on what? Titanium. No. I think that can be that can be challenging as well. It could be even more challenging than having somebody who doesn't have faith, but is spiritual and wants to get to know God. And those people that are Christians that have actually become very complacent over the years to their faith, and they look at you like, oh, well, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm not so enthusiastic about it as you are. Almost kind of looking down on you. Some of the experiences I've had anyway have been very, very interesting.
That is the information that you need. That's the beauty of dating, though. Thing is, I know people I have described myself in the past as a serial dater, but there's something in dating that you're just gathering information. People are dropping gems. You're picking them up, and just stuff like that. That if somebody, you're explaining your journey, and they're like, oh well, okay, interesting bit of information there. Do you know what I mean? It's just all information. I think the problem is, sometimes we're given information and we don't necessarily want to use it or listen to it or accept the information that we're receiving.
Yeah, absolutely. We can just turn a blind eye, we just turn it, we see red flags and we're like, no. And I think me and Jay were talking about this the other day, and we're saying actually how us not engaging in sexual activity makes a lot clearer for us in terms of making a decision when we're trying to find a spouse. Why? Because we're not so. How many people have stayed in a relationship because the sexual means or the activity or whatever is somewhat good, or they're enjoying it, and that actually can blur you into making a proper informed decision about whether this person's right for you. And I think COVID has actually amplified the fact that there's no distractions now. It's me and you COVID is out there. There's no distractions of going to like clubs and meeting somebody. There's no distraction of going to a bar and there's so many people around. Actually, it's just you and I on the phone, you and I in a video call. We have no choice but to get to know one another. And that's why a lot of the relationships just drop, because people are so used to the distraction. Okay, let me go and, let's go and meet at a restaurant and eat and talk. And then you realize that you're eating, you're not really talking, and the restaurant becomes that distraction. So I think people are comfortable with the one-to-one intimate kind of getting to know people. They I think I find some men are struggling with that. Some men are struggling with that.
Which is why, linking it back to our original topic, but all you stay in and you play Fortnite all day.
Yep.
you stay in all day. And your girlfriend's sitting there, you're sitting here playing Fortnite. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, is it?
No.
Shows you this relationship was not built. It was built on sand. It was built on sand.
Absolutely. And I guess when you have some celebrity status, they kind of want to know, having a beautiful model girlfriend on your shoulders or beside you, a trophy wife looks very, very good in terms of your status and your profile and stuff. But the reality is, actually, when the trophy wife or the trophy girlfriend is not there, there's no paparazzi taking pictures, and it's just you and her. Where's the trophy? The trophy is now being recycled because the trophy is now being recycled because actually there's no public approval that you're waiting for. There's no look at his beautiful girlfriend and all this stuff, and I can't believe the statistics on football bays not dating black women. That was crazy when Pastor Mike gave that. I had to say it. It's the truth. They're not dating us. So we need to be mindful of who we're chasing, because it's statistically, if the men that we're looking for are not looking for us, then why do we keep chasing?
As I say,
every time, George, Esther, it wasn't me. I just want you to mark it on the wall. It wasn't me.
My rant. We need to be wrapping up now. This is the time we start to wrap up. And Esther now wants to come and talk about football, not black women.
Every time.
That's our next. That maybe that's our. Is it an episode we're going to do on Clubhouse? Is it an episode we're going to do?
I'm not ready for that.
I know a lot of men
on Clubhouse. I'm not ready for that.
A lot of men will be on that.
Esther's like, yeah,
let's do it. A lot of men. I was a big football fan. And I know a lot of men will be on that platform because obviously they watch a lot of football, and I would love to hear. It's the truth. I've watched football my whole life.
I don't think because I just don't know if I'm ready.
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I've got the
ready. I'm not sure. But ladies, it's been a real episode. We've gone around the houses, but we came back. That's good. Let us pray and say our goodbyes until the next episode. And also we should say we're on Clubhouse.
Yeah, we're on Clubhouse. Not your typical tea.
Not your typical
tea. Follow us.
Yeah.
Sarah Bannerman. Jordan, what's your name on there?
Jordan Berkeley.
And then Esther Parent, right?
Yeah.
What I've done is I think if you follow us on Instagram, then you'll see our links, because actually I posted our names on Clubhouse. You can find us on Clubhouse, and then we can pin you into a room.
Brilliant.
So we can do
Clubhouse.
Also follow our Instagram, Not Your Typical Tea. Watch us on Spotify.
YouTube.
Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple.
All of the major listening platforms.
Yeah, all of the platforms are on there.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it. Guys, it's been real.
It's been real. Esther, pray us out.
Am I praying? Okay. Woo! Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that we have and this platform that you have given us, Lord, to share our experiences, Lord, and we hope that it resonates and touches hearts, Lord. We are so grateful, Lord, for what you have provided for us. And we're so grateful, Lord, that we have one another through this very difficult, anxious time that people are going through, and people have lost loved ones. And I'm praying, Lord, for the masses, Lord. I'm praying for healing for the masses, Abba Father. For you, Lord, are a glorious God, and you give us strength every single day, Lord. We know you are our refuge and our fortress, Lord. So let us seek in you. When it comes to couple goals, Lord, let us have goals in you, Lord. Let us aspire to be more like you and have godly traits like you, Lord. For you are the person that I aspire to be. I'm so thankful for everything you've given to me, Lord. We're grateful for our families. Thank you for Cheryl's life. Thank you for Jordan's life. Thank you for Nicola's life, Lord. And we pray that we can keep this platform coming together, Lord, and that you will keep us strong and that you will answer and hear our prayers, Lord. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Guys, see you in 2 weeks.
Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Bye.